So, hi everyone. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see you on the screen, but thanks so much for joining. This is our first session of the day for National Apprenticeship Week. We are joined by Aldi, and they were going to be talking about their apprenticeship vacancies that are live right now. You can head over to our website or the Aldi website that they will share with you, and you'll be able to apply, but they'll be giving a little insight into what working at Aldi actually means. So before I pass over to the lovely Kelly and Christina, I'm going to play a short video. Please make sure that you've got your audio playing so that you can listen to it. But just so you know, this webinar will be recorded and shared with you post the event. Any questions that you do have, please feel free to pop it in the chat, or Aldi do have a booth that is live, so you can post your questions in there and Aldi will get back to you with the answers. So I'm just going to play a short video and then hand over to the team at Aldi.
Hi everyone. A big warm welcome from us. Thank you so much for joining today's session, which is all about why our apprenticeships are an amazing option if you want to jump headfirst into the world of work and achieve a nationally recognised qualification, all while getting paid. So let's make a start with some brief introductions.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelly.
Yep. And I'm Christina, and together we are Aldi's apprenticeship team. We're both based in the HR department in Bolton, and we've got around 14 years worth of experience working for Aldi between us. So today we'll be talking to you about the apprenticeship opportunities available at Aldi, what we can offer you, who our ideal candidate is, as well as sharing some handy tips for applying. Before we get going, we'd like to share a fun fact that not many people know. So did you know that our brand name Aldi actually comes from two words combined, which are Albrecht and discount? So let us explain.
So as a business, we are really passionate about sharing our story, which actually started around 100 years ago, believe it or not. Back in 1913 to be exact, when a family called the Albrechts opened the very first store in Essen. So that is a city in Germany. It was from this first store in Essen that the family's two children, Carl and Theo, expanded the business into the brand that you'll all know today. And Aldi is the fourth largest supermarket in the UK, which we are very proud of. So to bring this journey to life, we'd like to play this short video for you.
Like it, but to know where you're going, you have to know where you've come from. Let's go back to before Aldi was even Aldi, to Essen. Now Essen actually means to eat. Funny that. Mum, that's her, Mrs. Albrecht, ran a little shop there. She had two boys, Theo and Carl, who would go on to open Aldi after Aldi after Aldi. A global success story that all of us in this room are a part of. Our north and south. But what is Aldi actually built on? Simplicity, efficiency, and honest pricing. We don't ask ourselves how much we can charge for a product, but how little we can sell it for. Aldi developed a culture where every single person joining us adds extra value. We love genius efficiencies, the four-corner barcode being just one. But Aldi's biggest challenge? Coming to Britain and Ireland, the home of the Big Boys Club. What was it Tesco said when Aldi arrived?
We welcome Aldi. We can live happily in our market, they can live happily in theirs.
Aldi was seen as down market then. A playground insult. Your mum shops at Aldi. Back then, assistants had to memorise prices at the till. Cash only. Looky-likey brands no one knew. We decided to act like pirates, not the Navy. We made positives of perceived negatives, like our smaller stores, our limited ranges, our cheaper prices. We compared Aldi quality not with competitor-owned labels, but with the big brands everybody loved.
I don't like tea. I like gin.
Like brands, only cheaper. Then we made the humblest item Aldi sell, a carrot, a Christmas legend.
I think I just peed myself.
And continue to innovate, delight and surprise to support our national teams.
Ready, Kevin?
Ready, Paul?
Aldi is one of the greatest stories of retail ingenuity in the world and has the awards to prove it. We've always believed that access to good food is a right, not a privilege. Over 1,000 stores here shine with that belief. Stay disruptive. Stay ahead. Stay pirate. Now it's time to go back to the future together.
Great. Hope you all enjoyed that. I think it was struggling a little bit with the sound. There was some bit more exciting music in the background that would normally play. But anyway, let's move on. So now you know a bit about us and how far we've come. We'd like to give you a sneak peek into how our UK business is structured. So we have 11 regions in total, which are split across England, Scotland and Wales. And each region has a regional distribution centre, or what we call an RDC. And they house an office and a warehouse. So to give you an idea of the scale, our Bolton region's RDC has 8,600 solar panels on its roof. Alongside this, each region also has its own group of stores. So we're talking on average 100 stores per region. And Aldi's head office is located in Atherstone, which is in the Midlands, and this is where most of our office colleagues work, such as our buying, our IT and finance teams. Each area of the business makes an impact, and it's amazing how many colleagues are involved in getting our products from our suppliers to our customers' shopping baskets. Next slide.
So moving on in terms of what can we offer you at Aldi. So we've recently been crowned which cheapest supermarket of the year, and that's for the 4th year in a row. So I think that definitely deserves a round of applause. We'll hope you'll agree. As well as being a brilliant supermarket to shop with, we're also a really great company to work for. So we just thought we'd cover just a few reasons why. So we offer an amazing market-leading benefits package, which includes discounts on gym memberships, cinema tickets and holidays, as well as really fantastic salaries, which we'll come on to in a moment. And all team Aldi colleagues have access to our wellbeing programme too, so which provides support across 5 key areas of wellbeing, and that actually includes a 24/7 wellbeing helpline. If you're environmentally and socially conscious, then you'll be pleased to hear that we have an amazing team who look at improving Aldi's environmental impact, so such as reducing our plastic and packaging waste, And we work with some amazing charities as well, such as the Teenage Cancer Trust, who we've already raised well over £10 million for, which is incredible. And finally, we're really proud to be ranked a top 100 apprenticeship employer as well. So last year, we were awarded position number 25 out of that top 100 by Rate My Apprenticeship, and that was the highest position gained by a supermarket retailer. So very proud of that award. So moving on.
So we've got some apprenticeship vacancies available at the moment across the UK, which can help you to kickstart an incredible career in retail. And no matter the path that you take, you'll get real opportunities, amazing benefits, and a cracking career to boot. Many of our apprentices have gone on to have incredible lifelong careers at Aldi and even progressed into management roles. But what exactly is an apprenticeship? So, apprenticeships help you to gain nationally recognised qualifications with support from industry experts, all while working on the job and getting paid by an employer. So, apprentices spend the majority of their time working for their employer, doing tasks that are relevant to their role. But alongside this, they undertake something called off the job training, and that's usually for a minimum of 6 hours every week. Off the job training can include a range of activities such as completing online learning, undertaking practical training, so that could be shadowing a more experienced member of the team, or spending time in other departments. We're currently on the lookout for friendly and motivated people with bags of common sense. So to join Team Aldi on our stores and warehouse apprenticeships, and you never know, it could be you next. No matter the path you choose, you'll get real hands-on practical experience and the theoretical knowledge you need to build a successful career in retail. You'll get mentoring support from our world-class colleagues and a designated training provider, so you have the skills and confidence you need to hit the ground running. And of course, paid time to study, no matter which programme you choose. Next slide.
So if you want to earn and learn trolley loads with Aldi, then we think you'll love our store apprenticeship programs. So no qualifications or work experience, then we want to hear from you. Our Stores Career Starter program is a brilliant way to kickstart your career and achieve an industry recognised qualification, all whilst getting paid. Alongside your training, you'll work towards a level 2 retailer qualification. And the programme typically takes around 15 months to complete, but it may be shorter if you live in Wales or Scotland. And then maybe it might be that you're an aspiring manager and you've got GCSEs in English and maths, grade 4 or above. Then look no further. Our store management programme provides a really structured career path to help you develop into a leader of the future. So in that programme, you'll work towards 2 industry recognised qualifications, all whilst learning on the job and getting paid. So that programme typically takes around 3 years to complete, but it may be shorter if you do live in Wales or Scotland. In the first year, you'll complete the Stores Career Starter programme before starting your deputy store manager training and working towards a level 3 team leader qualification. And then if all goes well, at the end of the apprenticeship, there'll be an opportunity for you to continue your journey with us. And that might be on a permanent store contract, either as a store assistant or a deputy store manager. And if you're really driven, you might want to jump up the career ladder a bit further. And our assistant store managers have starting salaries of over £35,000 a year, and our store managers start on over £50,000 a year. So if you are someone that is really determined and work hard, it really is possible to have a really successful career with Aldi. So I do think some of the video has played a little bit early in advance for a sneak peek for you all, but we're just going to show a quick 90-second clip of a store apprentice. Her name is Elle, and she's going to talk to you about her experience throughout the apprenticeship programme.
My name's Danielle. I work at the Aldi on Todmorden Road in Burnley. I've recently completed my level 2 retail apprenticeship. I got a distinction on that, year B. and I'm now doing my level 3 retail management. Obviously, the obvious one, I've got the promotion to a deputy store manager now, so that's brilliant. And I've also gained a lot of knowledge that I didn't previously know about retail. So that was brilliant as well. Managers have been brilliant. Whenever I'm struggling, they're always there to help. If I have any questions regarding something on the course, they give me printouts, help me, support me. And obviously, you're standing right there. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very supportive and always there when I need you, really. Fantastic. Stick with it, definitely. When you first join, it might be a bit overwhelming. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, what have I signed myself up to here? Stick with it. It is very rewarding and you'll give yourself a pat on the back at the end of it. Enlightening.
So thanks to Elle for featuring in that video for us. So now moving on to warehouse operations. So all apprentices in warehouse operations are obviously based in our distribution centres, and our warehouses are huge. Our 12 to 15 month warehouse career starter programme gives you a rare insight into the logistics industry. So you'll learn all about how our products get from our suppliers to our customers' shopping baskets as you work towards a level 2 supply chain operative qualification. So you don't need any previous experience or qualifications, and you'll get £11.18 an hour. So that's £335.40 a week. Once you've successfully completed your apprenticeship, there will hopefully be opportunity for you to move on to one of our permanent contracts, maybe as a warehouse selector or logistics assistant. But the great thing is that once you're in Aldi, there are other apprenticeship opportunities that you might be able to explore at some point, such as our level 3 team leader programme or maintenance programmes. And there's sometimes opportunity for our store and warehouse colleagues to apply for our aisles to miles and warehouse to wheel schemes too, when we've got openings. And if your application is successful, you'll get a chance to learn how to drive one of our big lorries as a driver apprentice and earn £14.41 per hour, which is higher than our externally advertised rate. On to the next slide.
So hopefully we've whet your appetite and you're interested in applying for one of our vacancies. So we are on the lookout for friendly, passionate, flexible, driven and reliable people to join Team Aldi as an apprentice. So if you're keen to learn, open to doing shift work and interested in building a career in the fascinating world of retail, then you're already halfway there. We're here to support you throughout your application process and can make reasonable adjustments as well to help you during the recruitment process too. So if you have a visual impairment, a specific learning difficulty, for example, dyslexia, or any other disability, then we really can provide materials in a larger font and give you an additional time as well for any assessments that you might need. Just make sure that when you are completing your application form that you do include any information about needing that reasonable adjustment so that the team can really help you if you do feel comfortable sharing this. So moving on to some hints and tips.
Yeah, so here are some other hints and tips you might find helpful when you're applying for one of our vacancies or any other job you might be interested in. So first of all, take your time, make sure you've included all the information that's needed, as this will help to make sure there aren't any delays with processing your application and increase your chances of getting through to the next stage as well. And secondly, make sure you do your research, have a look at our recruitment website and make some notes about the role you're applying for and what you've learned about Aldi. And make sure you include some of what you've learned in your application form, as it will really help you to stand out. Save your research, as it could come in handy if you reach the interview stage, and especially if you have any questions for the hiring manager. And our third tip is that first impressions count. But it's not all about dressing appropriately. Your body language speaks volumes too. Having good eye contact with the hiring manager or nodding your head to show when you're listening and interested can make a big difference too, if you can. And make sure you're on time if you're invited to an assessment or interview. So check the location to plan your journey and do a practice trip if you can. Finally, don't worry about having no work experience. So at Aldi, we like people who are passionate and committed. So on your application form and in the interview, focus on why you like the brand and the reason you want to work here. And think about the skills needed for the role too, and where you've demonstrated these in other things that you might have done. So that could be caring for someone or helping a neighbour out or playing a sport or any volunteering that you might do. Next slide, thank you.
So to help you out, we've introduced a brand new virtual work experience program, which we're super excited about. So we do get asked quite a lot whether we offer work experience for students, and we're really pleased that we're now able to provide this to young people virtually. And the best bit about it is that it's free to do. The full program takes a few hours to complete, and it is split into 5 different modules. You'll learn about what happens behind the scenes at Aldi and increase your understanding of the different business areas too, before deep diving into our apprenticeship opportunities. So you'll even get a certificate at the end, which you can download. So in the future, if you did apply for a role at Aldi, then you can take along your certificate to your interview, which is a really impressive way of showing that you've done your research. So a QR code is displayed if you want to scan it. Otherwise, just head to our apprenticeship area on our recruitment website and you'll find the link there, which will direct you through to complete the virtual work experience. So moving on.
Yeah, final slide. So if you want to earn a lot while you learn with one of Britain's fastest growing retailers and get real opportunities and even better benefits, then head to our recruitment site to find out more and apply. You can see the address on screen. Opportunities are typically open all year round, but availability does depend on location in some cases. But yeah, that's the end of the session. We hope it's been helpful, even if it's just to give you a bit of inspiration or an idea about what opportunities are available. We really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with whatever career path you choose. If you have any questions, yeah, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you, everyone.
No, thank you so much. That was super, super helpful. As mentioned, we will definitely share this recording with all of you that have attended, and you will also get a certificate from our side just to say that you did attend the session. We've had a couple of questions in the little Q&A part, and we've got about 7 minutes left, so I thought we'll just get down to it. So the first question that I can see is about that 6 hours of learning time. How is that sort of structured with the shift work, if you don't mind just sort of expanding on that a little bit?
So you will plan the shifts that you're going to do with your store manager. So it will always take place in work time. So it'll always be within those shift patterns that you work. So it really depends what your shift is, but you might do it all in one go on one day, or you might do a couple of hours on one day, a couple of hours on another day. It's really flexible how you use it, and it's a whole mix of activities that you do as well. So it's not just online studying, there's some practical aspects to it as well. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that sounds great. And then the second question is about the actual application process. So this obviously varies from employer to employer. What does each stage look like with Aldi?
Yeah, do you want me to answer that one, Christina?
You answer that one?
Yeah. So in terms of the first stage, so that'd be your application form. So you complete that online, and typically it's not a very long application form. But what we always advise is that if you are applying, take your time with it, get somebody to maybe look over it and sense check it before you do submit that. It then gets submitted, and the area manager or warehouse manager, depending on which program it is that you're applying for, will review your application. And then if successful, you'll be invited to an interview. Now, if you're successful at that interview, we do have a next stage, which is our Aldi experience. So that is where you come into store or you come into warehouse, depending on which role it is that you've applied for, which program. And you get to spend some time in the store or the warehouse. And that's more to see that the program that you've applied for is the right one for you. So you get to do a bit of a tour, meet some of the team, speak about the role. And then if you are successful at that stage, that's when you'll be offered a role with us, and a start date will be confirmed.
That sounds great. And then just on that application process as well, you mentioned about reasonable adjustments. So we've got, I think, a student that's potentially neurodiverse, and they were just wondering how they can get in touch in case they do need some adjustments in that application process.
Yeah, so there is a part on your application process which will ask about reasonable adjustments. And again, that's all down to if the candidate feels comfortable sharing that. So if you put in the details on the application form, then the recruitment team get in touch directly to see what kind of adjustments that you do need. It might be that you don't need any at all, but it might be that they can put a few different things in place which will make that process a lot easier for you. And we just want to make sure that you enjoy the process, and two, you've got as many adjustments as you need to be able to fill that application form out as best as you can. So just put in as much detail in there as you can, and we can provide them adjustments for you.
That's great. And then we've just got a couple minutes left. So I know that you guys have spoken a little bit about sort of during the apprenticeship what that growth looks like. But the question that I can see is, after your apprenticeship, what happens? Are you offered a permanent job? Do you get to sort of pick a different area that you can work on? How does it work?
So I could take this one. So obviously it depends which department you're working in. I look after our store operations program. So most of our apprentices are based in stores. So it really depends on you. You can obviously move on to, for instance, a store assistant contract, or perhaps you might be suitable for a deputy store manager role. It really depends on how your apprenticeship's gone, what you're looking for, whether you still want that career in retail. So there's no requirement for you to continue working with Aldi. If you're worried about that long-term commitment, there's no requirement. But we have had apprentices who have finished their programs and then they've progressed up. We had a little video there featuring Freddie, who started off as a store apprentice 10 years ago, and last year he was promoted to area manager. So he's gone through to from store apprentice, store assistant, DSM. He's gone to assistant store manager, and he's now an area manager. So yeah, you can really progress if you really put your mind to it, and it's something you really want to achieve. There are opportunities.
Yep, sounds like anything's possible. Just put your mind to it and you can sort of be like Freddie maybe one day. So we're going to end on a question. I know you've given a little bit of advice. You've sort of shared the different sort of areas that you guys support. But the final question is, what is the best thing about the sort of Aldi apprenticeship specifically? I think it might be nice if both you guys could give an answer. So Kelly, I'll just pass that over to you and then we'll get to Christina to close things.
I think it covers like apprenticeships, but I think it covers any role with Aldi. I just love, and I think apprentices love it as well, how fast paced the business is. You never stood around doing nothing. There's always something to be done. And I think that's where people really learn, by having lots of different tasks, exposure to different things. And that's something that I really love in my role. And from speaking to apprentices from stores and warehouse, that's something that they really enjoy as well. So I think that would be my number one thing. Don't know about you, Christina.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you. It's having that responsibility. You really are given that responsibility. and the trust that's put into you, but also opportunities at the end of your programme. We celebrate achievements with our apprentices at a graduation ceremony, which is a lovely time where all of our apprentices can come together, and we offer an award to our Apprentice of the Year every year as well, which is really nice. So I think it's the way that apprentices are celebrated at Aldi too.
Oh, that's lovely to close off on. So thank you so much to Aldi and to everyone who attended. Appreciate it's quite early in the morning, but Aldi do have their booth live throughout the entire day. So if you do have any more questions, just head over to that part of the platform and you can ask them as many questions as you like. It's been a super insightful session. As mentioned, and as you can see on the screen, apprenticeships are live now. So please don't forget to get your applications in. Make sure you take your time and do your research, and good luck. Thank you again, and hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day.